The UK government is actively preparing for a potential wartime scenario.
If Russia launched missiles at Britain tomorrow, there would be no civilian bunkers to shelter in.
Would you fight for the country?
No, the last thing I would want to do is represent England. There's not exactly much to be proud of.
The world was shocked.
The UK is closer to a major conflict than it has been in over 80 years. But if war does come, the biggest threat isn't just foreign bombs. It's the question nobody wants to ask. Would Britain even fight back? I'm Phil Campion, former UKSF, and this is the tactical truth. Now let's take a look at what's being said by the press, the mainstream media. You know the ones, don't you?
The UK government is actively preparing for a potential wartime scenario, and it's spending tens of millions buying these nuclear bomb-carrying fighter jets. So what's going on, and should you be concerned?
I've done this job for the last 10 years, and the last few years, they are more concerned, the truth is. They are more worried.
What would a world war even look like? How could AI, cyber attacks and nuclear weapons be used? And how likely is it that the UK would get involved?
Well, like it or not, it might not be our choice whether we get involved or not. Do you know what I mean? We might just be dragged in. Right, here we go. Why is the UK government worried about war? This is the BBC's take. Warfare is between major powers, an international security crisis, or the situation with multiple contingencies, blah, 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 blah. Mumbo jumbo.
Warfare between major powers is an active possibility. That's a quote from the UK government's 2025 National Security Strategy.
Now, that's more like it. That's a quote, isn't it? That's a proper quote.
Released on the 24th of June. The document says threats from other countries are on the rise, and those risks include the direct threat of assassinations, sabotage, and cyber attacks. So
Absolutely. And that's not even without touching people that are probably already stacked up in this country ready to go. So don't rule out the old civil war scenario either. That's probably up there with all of this, to be honest.
the UK government worried now? Your first thought might be the recent escalation between Israel and Iran and the US's intervention. But the BBC's defence correspondent says this isn't the only thing making governments nervous.
We shouldn't just focus on one area. China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea. Essentially countries which are seen as trying to destabilise the current world order, question international institutions. So even before Iran was attacked by the US, Russia was getting...
I think, look, we are staring down the barrel of something pretty heavy going to happen pretty soon, right? Exactly where it will come from and what form it will take and how it will manifest, it remains to be seen. But for 100%, we are headed towards a punch-up somewhere, somehow. All right, let's not even think any otherwise. In fact, if we were sensible, we would adopt the approach in times of peace, prepare for war. Well, I'd say we've gone past the times of peace even, do you know what I mean? We're in sort of like in times of the build-up for war. Make sure you're proper ready. Batten down them hatches.
Weapons from Iran, it was getting weapons from North Korea, it was getting technical support from China in its war with Ukraine. A lot of certainly people in the military were worried that they were joining up in this, what some call the axis of upheaval, and that could spark a conflict in the future. So I think those are the concerns, not just Iran itself, but what's happening in Ukraine, what's happening in China with its ambitions for Taiwan.
So the war in Ukraine, Putin wanted to overthrow the pro-Western government.
Right, so right now, all these, and you can say rightly so to a point, are focusing their efforts on what's going on, what are these doing, what are we doing? What are we doing? Now, I've been round, I've been very privileged. I've visited most of the big training establishments in the country, and our young men and women are as good as anybody else's. They train just as hard, and they're just as game. That goes without saying. But do we have enough of them stacked up? Because we do know that there's a lot of people in this country opposed to what is going on, to the point that they might just say, no, I'm not none of that. And then we would become potentially outnumbered in our own country.
And as of now, has taken around a fifth of Ukraine's territory. And China's ambitions for Taiwan, as Jonathan put it, is that it wants to reclaim the democratic, self-governed island off its southeast coast. And yeah,
everyone's rattled on about Taiwan, and China have had plenty of opportunity by now to say, well, you know, they're starting to sort of like at least make a move in the Crimea and all that sort of stuff. And we've watched Russia's lead but they haven't actually made a committed choice to go that way, have they yet? So again, a lot of saber rattling around the world at the moment, but saber rattling push can become a shove.
Hasn't ruled out forcibly taking over. China and Russia are both named in this document as major powers who want to reshape international order, which would then threaten the UK's security.
If England was to go to war,
Here we go. This is what I'm asking. This is, I don't know, somewhere in London, Carnaby Street or somewhere like that, I think. But this is a guy out there with his thing asking the youth of today, not representative of all youth of today, I'm going to tell you, but some people, are you or are you not going to fight for some bushes? Let's hear what they say.
would you fight for the country?
No.
Citizenship, so you're. I have no ounce of patriotism in my body whatsoever.
No ounce of patriotism in my body whatsoever, but quite prepared to fund around that town, abusing the liberties afforded by the people who paid for them. Am I right? Am I wrong? Maybe. Yes. You can see that, can't you?
I just can't bother this.
I just can't be bothered.
No, can't be bothered. Okay. Also, we're all trans, so like that's a hot topic, isn't it?
If you would,
Not particularly. No one cares. When someone's knocking at your door to come in and kick your face in, someone's got to stand up to repel them, or you're going to get overrun. That's the bottom line, isn't it?
drafted, would you fight for this country?
No, I've got a bad knee. Oh, absolutely not. I'm not fighting. I've got asthma. I'd cover it out somehow.
No, I wouldn't fight on the front line.
I would probably try to avoid that if I could. I would, but I'd like to be like on the online team. I'm not built for it. I'd crumble.
Shocking, isn't it? Shocking. Do you know what I mean? When you think in the 40s, and I'm not going to go on about the 40s too much because we're not there anymore and we're quite clearly not there. But, 15-year-old men would step up to the plate, lie about their age to get to the war at 16. Do you know what I mean? And these people are, I don't think it's a sense of entitlement here that someone else will look after me. I'll be okay. No, you might very well have to man the guns on this one, my friend.
For a couple of days. I think I would crumble. My mental stability is not strong enough to be on the front lines.
Yeah, I wouldn't fight them on the beaches, but maybe the foreruns. If it's in defence of the country, yes.
There you go, step up a generation or two. And he's in. He's in like Flynn, as I would be too. I'm telling you, I'll have a final foray with someone in the defence of this nation.
It's in defence of the political system, yes. I would imagine if anything did occur, there'd be enough people volunteer.
I don't think it's our job to do it. Cause and partly serves to go to war.
Conscription is a long...
No, I was just put on this earth to consume things that other people have paid for. My freedom, for one, I'll just consume it in bucket loads. But I won't pay for it myself.
Established practice in this country.
You're battering me, so got no chance. No point drafting me. I'd have to be wheezing. Don't want that. You don't want that next year. That's not something you're going to go to war with.
Obviously, there's a lot of people who do feel it's their job. Credit to them, but I'm not that person. I don't know. I'd probably say I've got an allergy or something. Allergy to bullets or gunpowder or something like that.
If the UK went to war, would you fight in the army?
100% fight for the UK.
I think I would.
100% that young lad there. Well done, well done. So there are plenty of people out there. I'm not knocking the entire country's youth. Do you know what I mean? Because I know and I've met and I've seen, and I'll continue to see and promote them, all right, as fighting people, because that's what they do and that's what they want to do, and they want to see the right thing. So there are plenty of out there getting it right. You just got to ask yourself, is there enough out there with that attitude?
I'm not sure. I believe in national pride. If it was an unjust cause, if it was a genocidal cause or anything like that, I wouldn't be partaking in that. But if it
He's quite a sensible young man, this one.
aligned with, it wouldn't even have to be like directly aligned with my political views. If UK was under attack or if my homeland was under attack, I would.
I think it's not especially my desire, right? But it's my obligation. You have to do what's right for our country because
You do have to do what's right for your country. You're exactly right, my friend. So, yeah, you're starting to... These two are smelling the coffee here, aren't they?
think if I didn't do it, then I can't expect others to do it.
Right. If the UK got invaded, first people I'd protect are my family.
The country's given a lot to me and my family, and it would be wrong not to give back.
So what are the chances of...
So, a few good people there. So, like I say, we are dripping about a few people on here. That goes without saying, all right? There is a feeling that a lot of people won't step up to the plate. My worry is that we've gone that far down the line that we don't have enough people step up to the plate, because potentially this is going to be a a manpower intensive period if it all goes completely Pete Tong.
You being conscripted in the UK, they're pretty much zero as of now. The UK government can't even recruit enough for the army for their regular force now. You could argue conscription would help, but there's just no political appetite for it. So how concerned should you be about all of this? The UK government has set out what it plans to do to reduce the risks we face. They say they'll strengthen borders and national infrastructure. So reading between the lines, that's protecting things like electricity, gas and transport networks from attack. And they'll put more money into the armed forces to make them more lethal and ready for warfare, and invest more into AI as a form of security.
What would you say to someone who is worrying or joking about the potential of a world war in which Britain is heavily involved?
So people are taking it more seriously than.
I think you need to take it seriously. You need to think about what it is that's actually afforded you the liberties that you take now. Do you know what I mean? And think about what's gone before you and how they've teed you up.
They were. Everybody assumes that the peace that we've had and enjoyed for the last 70 odd years, and it is largely peace for most people in European countries, is not guaranteed in the future. That doesn't mean that war is inevitable. The example that we're getting from government is be prepared, but be prepared for a possibility. It's not inevitable.
If Russia launched missiles at Britain tomorrow, there would be no civilian bunkers to shelter it. Our air defences would struggle to repel drones or cruise missiles. Our Wi-Fi systems and our cables would be snapped in minutes.
Another thing you've got to realise here is there'll be a totally different war to what it was in 1940 as well. So, technology has put us in a place where we rely to a vast extent on a lot of technology. Satellites, who knocks them out? All this sort of stuff can be taken away. Internet can be put down. All these cables can be, all that sort of stuff under the sea. It can all be taken away very easily. Do you know what I mean? So it's a totally different kettle of fish nowadays as well. And you could be back in a Stone Age time before you know it, I'm telling you.
Our critical national infrastructure, the gas storage, power generation, data centres, are all exposed. And Sir Patrick warns that our resilience, our ability to recover from attacks, to keep society functioning is dangerously low. Our food would disappear in minutes. He's not fear-mongering. Russia has repeatedly attacked Ukraine's power grid and civilian infrastructure. Why do we think that the UK would be exempt? Britain has a long history of ignoring threats until they are upon us. The difference today is that technology gives our enemies the power to paralyze us with missiles, drones and cyber attacks before a single soldier crosses the border. We cannot wait for tragedy to jolt us awake. As Sir Patrick said, I don't know what more signals we need. We must heed this warning. We've had nuclear strikes on our own territory, in Salisbury, for example.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. It's on our border. And we'd be very unwise to ignore it completely. Okay, we've just seen what the press are saying, but here's our summary. Everyone's asking, will we go to war? Wrong question. The real question is, if we do, who the hell will fight for Britain? Our military's down to bare bones, recruitment's collapsing, and the backbone of the armed forces, working class lads, with something to do to prove, are now being replaced by influences. Our military is down to the bare bones, and there's plenty out there doing their best, but recruitment isn't what it was. Retention is hideous, and the lads we really want are working class lads. They've got something to prove, and now being replaced by influencers, activists, recruits more interested in virtual signalling than valour. And let's be brutally honest about this, shall we? This isn't 1940 anymore. Britain isn't united. It's a patchwork of tribes, political, ethnic, religious, digital. And if a major war kicked off, which of those tribes would actually be willing to defend this country? Man, oh man. Would young Muslim men fight if we were at war with a Muslim majority country? Would liberal urban youth take up arms for a country that they're being told is racist, colonial and outdated? Would first or second generation immigrants fight for a union they've been taught to resent? Or would they just sit it out and wait and see what came next? And what about the white working class? They're already being told they're the problem. You think they'll volunteer to save a system that's treated them like dirt? We've got zero national cohesion at the moment, zero identity, and if the balloon goes up, we're going to see just how deep the cracks really run. The old generation, they'd have fought. They did fight. Today, we'd have more TikToks about war than men and women on the front line. No national service, no shared values, no pride in society. And here's the kicker. Every other major country sees it. China gets it, Russia gets it, Iran gets it. Even France are starting to get it. And if you're sitting there thinking, well, we've got nukes, wake up. Nukes are useless when the war's already inside your own borders. We're not ready for a street fight, let alone a global one. If war comes before 2030, Britain's not just underprepared, we're undefended, morally, culturally, and militarily. And if, and you might want to, hear the parts that we don't want to discuss openly here, then I'd pay you 16 pence and I'd be looking at ForceTV Plus, because we're going to rip it apart in there, I'm telling you. Right, till next time, I'll see you later on.